My name is Pete Newbig. I'm the CEO of VPM Solutions, and welcome to our demo. When you create a profile, the first time you create a profile, you are navigated to the Quick Start Guide. Now notice in this demo here, we have most of the Quick Start Guide steps are completed, 5 or 6 steps. So you simply go through each of the steps and you add your profile, you build your profile. Once you complete the last step, then you'll notice that your quick start guide is no longer has any numbers next to it, and notice that the steps are complete, which means that the next time you log in and moving forward, you will actually log into your company accounts section. Now with company accounts, cool thing is you can actually invite people. So in this members section, you can invite people to be a company manager or a manager. The main difference between an owner and a company manager is that the owner has access to the billing section, and the owner also has access to all of the company details. So the owner can modify all of the company details. The company manager has access to all workspaces, and the manager has limited access. The manager only has access to the workspaces that you assign that manager. Now, what are workspaces? So think of workspaces like departments. So in this demo, we have a maintenance department, a leasing, and admin and utilities. They're all created by me, but notice here there's different members. So I have different people accessing the different workspaces. And why is this important? Because in the workspace, you have your jobs. So notice on this dashboard, it tells you how many jobs are in the workspace and what status they're in. So I have this one here has 5 jobs in the maintenance workspace. 1 is in hiring, 3 is filled, and 1 has been closed. I can manage the workspace from here. I can edit the workspace. I can also delete a workspace. If you delete a workspace, all jobs will be moved into the default workspace. And I can add and remove any users, meaning add or remove any managers. I cannot add a owner, and I cannot remove a owner or a company manager because they have access to all workspaces. So for this case, if I wanted the manager, Brian Doyle, to be removed, I would simply click update. I'm going to cancel here. Okay. Now you can drop into each of the departments or workspaces by clicking on it, and you can actually see all of the jobs here. And you can see when they were created, the status, and if I have applications or invitations. You can then drill even further. So let's say, for example, in this maintenance coordinator I'm hiring, I can click on this job and I actually could go into the job workspace. With the job workspace, I've posted a job at this point, and the job has then matched through our algorithm, the talent match algorithm, to the people, to virtual team members that are on the site. I can invite these people to my project. I can click on their resume card and review the resume card. I can also filter further, and I can filter based on a keyword search, skills, specific country, or budget. So let's just say I wanted everybody that was in the Philippines. Well, I can just type in Philippines, and that would give me all the people that are in the Philippines. I can exit out of the filter, and I can also look at if anybody applied, and I can message that applicant. I can decline them, or I can begin the interview process. I can also verify the job summary. I can duplicate a job if I wanted to copy and basically copy this job and edit it. I can edit the job, and I can just change anything I want to change here when I edit the job as well. And I can also close the job. So if I'm no longer going to hire, I can just simply close the job. If I invited anybody to the job, they would be here. Once you invite somebody, you can then message that person directly. And then if there's any files that you want to upload, you can upload these files as well. To go back to my company accounts workspace, I just click on this company accounts icon and I'm right back in my workspace. And here's all my workspaces, and I can go right back into that maintenance workspace, or I can simply click back out. Now, I can also look at jobs at a high level view, not just the ones inside a specific uh, workspace, but I can look at all jobs by clicking the job section. Now, notice this has all my jobs, and it tells me who my team member is, and it tells me my hourly rate and the account status. I can sort on any one of these by job name, workspace name, status, and so forth, and I can also search. So if I wanted to search on Pete, I can search on Pete. So you get a much high level view of your jobs. Now, one of the cool things that we added in this feature, the account status of the virtual team member. So when a virtual team member gets a job that's filled, by default, their account status goes to quote unquote hidden, meaning that if somebody else was searching for virtual team members, they would not show up in the search. And hidden means it's red. If it's green, it means it's not hidden. So in this case, Chad Thatcher and Felicia Newbig, what they did is they got a job and they went out and moved their profile from hidden to available. This could be where they might be looking for another job, or it could be that they were testing. But this means that they can now be searched by by employers, and that they can also search jobs. So what that looks like is, let's say here I'm going to log in as a virtual team member. Notice that my availability is hidden. It's hidden by default. And what that means is when I search for jobs, this search is disabled. If I go in and I make this available, meaning open to work, when I click on a search, I can now search jobs. And also notice that in this case, Pete was red. Okay, if I refresh the page and I go back, now Pete is green because he is now available for work. So it gives you a bird's eye view. Now, when you first log in to the site, you go into your quick start. Once that's done, you go into your company accounts. But if you want to search for team members just to see if there's somebody that might fit your criteria, you just click on the main search button here, and we have a comprehensive search, and you can fill out like specifically a skill set, right? So maybe you use property wear. So you can actually select property wear, and you can actually search on property wear. And if anybody has property wear, they would show up. Now, I'm going to go ahead and clear this because we're in a demo database. So a couple of icons will show up here. If you see here, Steve R., you have this little icon here. This icon shows that he's currently employed on the VPN platform, meaning Steve has a job already, and he's looking for either a second job or a new job. But this allows you, when you invite Steve and you start interviewing him, you can ask him about his job that's on the platform. The other icon is this little video icon. When you see this icon, you can click on it, and this shows that they actually have a video resume on their profile. Now you can invite somebody to a job by simply clicking the job, and any job that's open, you can invite them to that job. You can also click on a resume card, and you can click on invite and invite this person to a job as well. To post a job, it's very simple. You just click on the icon, post a job. You can also click on it over here. You can select a workspace on where you want that job to get created, or you can create a new workspace. So in this case, we'll put in, let's put in maintenance here. And you determine, do I want somebody part-time or full-time? And am I looking for kind of a project-based, short-term, I need them just for the summer? Or is it long-term, I'm looking for them, to stay with me for quite some time? You then just put in a job a job title, right? So let's do maintenance supervisor on this one. And then you select a job category. Now the job category is not something that anybody will see. It's actually used in our algorithm. So just put something that's close to the job posting that you're looking for. Click next, enter the job description. One of the cool things I like about our site is that if I click on the job templates, we actually built a bunch of different job roles that has recommended training, their job role tasks, KPIs or key performance indicators, what the personality profile, if it's DISC, a DISC profile should be, and what we recommend for the English proficiency. And you can simply um, use this as a baseline. So I can copy and paste, basically this job role, and I can add it here, and then I can modify it so that it looks more like my company, like the company that you're going to hire for. We have a whole video on what we recommend on how you post a job. I highly recommend that you look at that. Then you determine what English proficiency you're looking for. If you need a second language, you can go ahead and put in the second language and what skill set you need in the second language. And then this is the base, this is the crux of it here. So you can put in what skill sets you're looking for. So notice we have administrative, we have accounting, bookkeeping, marketing, sales, and business development. So you can select as many of these as you want. And then the software skills. These are general software. So notice that G Suite, Microsoft Excel, this is just general software, meaning it's not industry specific. Then you get into the property management skills. So now we're in the industry specific skills. So I can put in exactly what skill sets I'm looking for. And then I can also verify what software, right? So if I'm looking for maybe AppFolio and like Property Mail or something. So whatever software that you're looking for, this is all going to be inputted into your job posting that then matches up with the virtual team members that are on the site. You also set a budget. So this is important to set a budget because this budget is going to be advertised when the job is posted. If you found somebody in the search that you really liked, like I like this Pete guy, you can invite him directly to the job when you post the job. And if you have somebody in mind, maybe you have somebody that's already off platform and you want to invite them, you can simply add their email directly here and they'll get invited as soon as the job gets posted. I click next, I can review the job posting, and I go ahead and I post it. Now, if you already have your billing information on file, it'll show up here. Only company owners can add the billing information. So if you're a company manager or a manager and there's no billing information on site, you can post a job, but you're not going to be able to hire anybody until the billing information is put in. You do not have to put billing information in at this time. You are allowed to post a job with no billing information. So you can post a job. Now the cool thing, what happens is all those questions you answered on your job posting is part of our talent match algorithm. What the talent match algorithm does is it takes all those, we have over 5,000 VAs. At the time of this recording, we're almost at 6,000 virtual team members. That can be overwhelming. And so what the talent match does is it takes those 6,000 and breaks them down and says, okay, out of those 6,000, these are the people who match the closest with your job. Right. And so so the algorithm takes into consideration all those skill sets you put in, your English proficiency that you put in, your budget that you put in, and a few other things. So it takes all of that. And when the virtual team member created their profile card, notice that they have their skill set, their English level, they have their hourly rate that they are asking for, right? All of this takes into consideration. This is what gets matched, and then you can see how many people match, and it matches, and you see that the lower they are, different colors and so forth. Once you post a job, our algorithm takes into consideration everything that the virtual team members created when they created their profile, and everything that you put in, that you posted in your job posting. And it takes that and it basically gives you all the matches. So all those thousands of people that were on the main search, they are now scaled down to the people that match most directly with the job posting that you require. And then you can filter these down even more by clicking on a filter, and you can create your own filter. So let's say I want the people in Mexico, and um, I could actually save this filter, and I can call it Mexico. I can save this filter, and now it shows up in my filters. And if I want to use this filter, it just shows me everybody that's in Mexico. I can clear the filter, and it'll show me everybody again. So you can you can even reduce this list even further by the filtering. If you see somebody you like, and you see that I want to invite them to the job, you can simply click on invite, and you can invite them to the project. So once I invite Guy R to the project, he will actually show up here as somebody invited. Now notice that I invited Pete Newbig when we actually posted a job. Once I invite these folks, I can message them. And I can invite them and say, hey, would you like to fill out an application? Okay, and so I can simply, so now I can go click back here, and I'm back on the workspace, and I can see if I get any applications, they would show up here. Once I have an application, so we're going to go back to jobs, and we're going to look at somebody that is hiring. So I'm going to go back here, right? And here's that maintenance coordinator one that we talked about earlier. So I'm going to click here, and I'm going to see this application. So now I can message the applicant, and interested in hiring. Now you go back and forth, and again, we actually have a video and a blog on the hiring process and best practices. But for this demo, let's just say we're interested in Pete. So we're going to begin the hiring process. So we can message Pete. And we have a step-by-step process that we walk you through, right? So step one is schedule the interview, right? Message them and schedule an interview. After that, the next message is, let's do some pre-interview process, right? So I schedule the interview, but now make sure that they have their internet speed that's required. Make sure they have the computer specs that are required. So there's certain prerequisites that you can find the best person to work for you. But if they don't have a stable internet and the computer specs, for example, maybe they work off an iPad, and in our industry, you're going to need a computer with 2 monitors. It's just not going to work out. Now, I told you we had some steps on hiring. So we actually wrote a blog on how to hire, and you can simply click on it here. And we actually even have sample interview questions. So VPM Solutions isn't just a technology platform, which like a fractional HR company that kind of helps guide you through the interview process. Now, if you like somebody and you want to offer them a job, but maybe they're going to actually have access to sensitive data, well, VPM Solutions has connected with a company called HireImage, and you can actually run a background screening internationally through HireImage. And so HireImage has an international package that starts at $25. If you don't want to do a background check, no problem. You can move forward. And then you set up, okay, what's my start date? Right? Do I agree at $10 an hour? Maybe you guys negotiated a different pay rate, and that hasn't been changed. So you can message the person about changing the pay rate. You set the start date up. Now, this is important because by setting the start date up on the 14th, in this case, Pete, the virtual team member, he will not be able to access the workspace and therefore enter time starting on until the 14th. Once I click here, if you have never devised a contract, we have a sample contract that you can click through, and it will give you a sample contract. Should you pay them PTO, and there's some things that we kind of go through. The contract goes through all of that, and then the compensation guidelines is another blog that I wrote for you, the employer, to say how do you keep them, and what should I pay them? What are some perks I should give them? Should I pay them overtime, et cetera, et cetera. And then once you click on hire now, then what happens is I agree and I hire. Now watch what happens. This workspace, okay, Notice some things change. So time log is added, one-time payments is added, and if you look at the job summary, the status is now filled. Okay, so this maintenance core job, so if we go back here and we look at jobs, you'll see that the maintenance core job, let's see if we can find that here. All right, you see this job here is now filled by Pete Newbig, and his status went red, meaning that it was his status went hidden. Now I can transfer this workspace to another workspace. I can transfer this job to another workspace, or I can close the job right from here. Now let's say Pete worked for a while and he added some time. So I can look at time logs and I can see all the people who have added time for all the jobs. All right, and so I can sort by date, I can sort by job ID. Right, so if I want to, or a team member, or even hourly rate, total hours, and I can sort by status. So it tells me what the status is. All right, so if anything is auto approved, meaning that it's been approved and it's ready to get paid out. Anything that's processing is basically in transit. It's been approved. And of course, we have removed by assistant, you have dispute, and you have declined. And then of course you have approved. So I can modify some of this stuff if I need to and change this to decline or dispute because it hasn't been paid out yet. But this gives you a really good bird's eye view. Now, the way that our system works is that the payments get auto approved every Monday, and you have Monday and Tuesday to go ahead and dispute, decline any time cards. On Wednesday, the time for the previous week gets charged to your account, and then it goes in transit or in processing. Same thing for one-time payments. I can look at one-time payments by job, by team member. I can also search. So if I just want to see everything I've given Pete, see now these were declined, so I can see that. If I look at everything, I can see, by clicking on the status, what's in dispute, what's been approved, and what is pending approval. I can also see reports, so I can see reports. Now, remember, if I'm the manager, I only see time logs for jobs that I have access to. If I'm the company manager or the owner, I see the full time logs. Same thing with one-time payments. I only see the one-time payments for the workspaces that I have access to. And the same thing goes for reporting. When I see only the jobs that have upcoming monies due in the upcoming due. And so notice here, it started off on this week. So this is the current week. Because we're in beta, there's no time here. Now, if your virtual team member enters time every day, then there will be time in each one of these dates, and it will show up in the upcoming due. Now, also, notice here I have stuff from last week. Okay, so upcoming due will show up here until that Wednesday morning that Wednesday morning when the week prior gets processed, right? So for example, when processing happens, these 3 hours will go from upcoming due into processing. And this processing number will go from $38.11 and add $11.33. And then all of a sudden, nothing will be an upcoming due. Now, if I had 3 more hours here, then those hours would also be an upcoming due. So how do I see, also, if I had any bonuses, it would show up in upcoming due. So I can simply click this, and it gives me a detail of the job ID, right, the job title, the date, the start and end, how many hours, the rate, the subtotal, and what the fee is. Now, the fee for the employer is a pass-through fee from VPM Solutions, from our payment processing through VPM Solutions to you, the employer. If you pay by credit card, it's a 3% fee. And if you pay by ACH, it's a 1% fee. So notice in this case, this is a credit card because this is a 3% fee. So even though you're paying this assistant $4 an hour, your fee is 12 cents and it's $4.12. And that's how you get the $11.33. If you had anything that's in dispute, it'll stay in here until it's either gets declined or removed or approved. If it's approved, it'll go into upcoming due. Anything that's in dispute will never get paid out until it's outside of dispute, until it's approved. And then processing means in transit. So this is all the stuff that's in transit, and these numbers here will equal this. And once it goes into processing, notice it goes into a billing period. And I can click on the billing period, and it tells me the total hours. In this case, this is a bonus for $1. Again, we're in a beta site here, but here, if you click here, it tells me 2 hours what the current total is, and typically your subtotal is going to equal your hours and your pay rate. If this does not equal, well, the chances are that you changed your hourly rate. So this is the current pay rate, but maybe the first hour was at $3 and the second hour was at $5. So even though this says 2 and 5 equal 10, well, if the first hour was at $3, this would equal $8. And so that's why we put this little subtotal and this little pop up here for you to know that. And then your total payments, everything that's been paid out, and you can also download this to a CSV coming soon. That is coming very, very soon. And that is company accounts.